So, I'm so excited to bring you a very brief history of Earth Day since we are starting the celebration today. For approximately 200 years, the history of the United States was such that the Industrial Revolution did a lot of things to help people. Yes, that's true. We had the advent of railroads, we had faster cars, we had great factories, we had great production. Everything was really fantastic for people. It benefited us economically. However, it wasn't overly exciting for the environment. Things like oil spills, pollution from factories and power plants, pesticides. Unfortunately, all those things led to the loss of wilderness, damage to our water, to our air. There was a lot of pollution going on. All that was very bad. Back in 1962, there was a woman by the name of Rachel Carson. She was considered a New York Times bestseller. She published a book called Silent Spring. That book was pretty groundbreaking for its time. Within that book, she was raising public awareness for living things in the environment. She is considered to be the first person to have made a connection between pollution and public health. A couple years later, as the situation began to worsen, there was still a significant amount of environmental problems going on. In January of 1969, there was a huge oil spill in California that alarmed some of the legislators and the lawmakers in Washington, D.C. There was a gentleman by the name of Senator Gaylord Nelson. He worked together with Congressman Pete McCloskey, and they recruited, at the time, a very young activist by the name of Dennis Hayes. So between the three of them, they came up with a plan to address some of these environmental concerns, and they were excited. At the time, they were having something called bed-ins, sit-ins, some kind of peaceful protest to indicate to people what was going on. So they decided to do something called a teach-in on local college campuses, and all that information was directed to national media. They had to get the word out about what was happening to the environment and what you can do to save it. The most important thing was to talk about the air and water pollution because the situation was not going very well. Dennis Hayes was actually a pretty incredible person. As being as young as he was a really great activist. He actually had a vision to promote the vision of what the senator and the congressman wanted, and he himself came up with the idea. Why don't we go ahead and promote events, not just in the local area and in Washington, D.C., we're going to do it all over the United States. We're going to recruit different organizations, including secular and faith-based groups, in order to help with the teaching. Eventually, those efforts changed, and the name became Earth Day. As soon as the media found out about Earth Day, boy, they jumped on that bandwagon real quick. According to the sources on earthday.org, the first Earth Day inspired 20 million people to demonstrate the facts about the environmental pollution and talk about the impacts of the industrial development from the last 150 years. All the goodness that was going on that helped us economically, damaged us environmentally. The very first Earth Day took place on March 22nd, 1970, making today, March 22nd, 2024, the 55th anniversary of Earth Day. After the first Earth Day, there was the creation of the United States Environmental Protection Agency and the creation of environmental laws. And there you go, a very brief history of Earth Day. Hope you enjoyed it.